With less than 30 days away, the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans, always has great guests, and tonight is no different. So without further ado, you're not going to want to miss this one. Sammy, start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Do the Titans have a miracle left in them in what has been a magical season to this point? Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25. Pitches it back to Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson.
He's got something.
30,
He's
40,
got something.
50.
He's got it.
40.
He's got it.
20. 10.
He's got it.
End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast. It's gonna be sick.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sick Podcast, Talking Titans. I'm joined always by the boy Vin. Vin, what's going on, buddy?
How we doing? We still haven't gotten us three back together yet.
Yeah, Sal took off of work. He went to the Yankee game, so
got to
he's going to miss out on this one, but it's all good.
This is a big one, but let's get right into it. Introduce the man.
Yeah, without further ado, I mean, listen, our team is talking quarterbacks. We have the number one pick. Obviously, with Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, the news circulating that the Titans can draft either one of them. What's a better way to segue with a guest with the founder of Select Quarterback Athletics, QB coach of Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, Mr. Darrell Colbert.
And what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
How are you?
Good.
Appreciate you coming on.
Man, appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm looking forward to it.
You are definitely a world traveler, going to Miami, going to Colorado, traveling the world with the quarterbacks. So like I said, appreciate it again. Just to touch on a couple things, we'll piggyback between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders since you coach both of them, respectively. But let's talk about Cam Ward. His pro day was just this past week. All signs pointed it was a great pro day. How did you feel in your perspective, since you guys prepared together for the pro day? How do you feel like that went, and are you comfortable with how he performed on his pro day?
Man, I'm extremely comfortable. I think we prepared the right way, even all the way up until before we got out there, just, walking through the script a few times, even though we had went over it numerous amount of times. We've been preparing for it since, I think I looked at a video, since January 13th. Is when we started training. So we've been preparing for it for a while. The biggest thing was last few weeks, just kind of getting back with his receivers. The receivers were at their respective trainers, getting ready for pro day and all the stuff they had to do and combine for those guys. So just getting back with those guys and getting on the same page, getting the timing going. Few throws that we would like back. But other than that, man, I think it went really well. I think a lot of good feedback from a lot of people that's talking on TV, people, social media, people that were there, coaches, GMs, just different people, a lot of great feedback. So I think it went really well, man. Of course, for him, if I asked him 1 through 10, he would not give himself a 10 because of a couple of throws that he missed. But I think he showed, especially with it being live, like we had an out that to the right that slipped out his hand first thing before we even went. Normally we just go to the next one. He was like, "Nah, get back up here. Let's get that again." And he made a comment on one of the interviews that he did it was just like practice. Like that's what they do at practice. If the receiver doesn't like the route he ran or might have dropped the ball, or if he misses a throw, we're getting it right back. And so that's what we did at the pro day. It just shows that how he's able to take control. And receivers didn't blink an eye. They got right back up there and got it done. So I think it was really good, man, especially with him, being able to get with his guys and getting out there throwing. I think it went really well.
Now, I'm sure you got Shedeur Sanders as well. Like I said, his pro day is next week, I think April 4th. So you're going to be preparing with him now. Cam Ward has a private workout with the Tennessee Titans, our Tennessee Titans, I believe Friday, tomorrow. Do you have a script in like with a private workout like that, or is that just specifically team based of what the team wants that quarterback to do in their workout?
Yeah, it's team based. So their coaches, they're hands on, so they'll be able to get their hands on them and kind of take them through whatever they want to take them through. Whatever throws it is, whatever movements it is, kind of talk their offense, talk their terminology, a lot of different things like that. So it's going to be all Tennessee Titan based. right? So it's gonna be interesting. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it when he finishes up tomorrow.
Now, obviously, there's a lot to like about both quarterbacks, but Cam Ward, as of late, has been the talk. We know Tennessee loved him at the pro day. We saw him and Callahan smiling at each other. We'll show clips of Cam in his interview afterwards later. But speaking of that private workout they're having, I'm sure you have to be coy about certain things. You are the quarterback's coach for both of them, but Tennessee holding this extra private workout isn't something you see all the time with teams that are holding the number one pick. Do you believe Tennessee, obviously we know they liked him and we would not be mad if they took him, but do you think Tennessee might be playing possum a little and trying to garner more interest to get a mega deal similar to what the Bears gave up when they wanted to get Caleb Williams? Do you think Tennessee's trying to do something like that by having this extra workout? Or do you think it's just to get an extra look at him, get him in their facility and get him doing things that they want to do with him should they draft him?
Yeah, man, I think it's more so about, especially at the quarterback position, you're talking about having a number one pick. You're investing all of this money into this guy, and you're investing really the next 3 to 5 years into this guy. So you want to make sure if whatever guy that you're choosing,
Hopefully the next decade if we take him. Hopefully.
yeah, for sure. Not 100% for sure. But you want to make sure that you crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's. You've done all your homework. Of course, you've seen them, at pro day. You've seen some games. You've met with them. You've done all this stuff with these different guys. But you just want to make sure that put them in your offense. Have them up there. Take them through stuff that you guys do. You want to if you're about to make this pick, this is a huge pick. So whoever you're gonna make it on, you want to make sure you do as much homework as you can. It's not okay. I did this. No, I can do as much as I need to be able to make sure that we're making the right decision for our franchise.
So
and I think that's kind of what they do.
Are being cute and trying to get a mega deal. You think they like Cam Ward and they just want to do all their due diligence before, like you said, they invest the number one pick in him, basically.
Yeah, and I 100% do. I think that's with both of them because they're doing the same thing with Shedeur.
Shedeur's got a private after his pro day as well.
He has a private as well. So I think they're just trying to make sure they do as much homework as they can on these guys, because they feel like they need a quarterback, and if they feel like one of these guys is the guy, that they're going to do as much research as they can. Meeting with everybody, meeting with their families, just everything that they can. So I think this private is just another piece of their homework, until they get to the final project.
Now, before we get into Shedeur Sanders, and then I would like to talk about both quarterbacks. We were talking about before the show, we have a clip of Cam at his pro day talking with Rand Carthon about how he studied, I don't know with you, but we'll talk about it after the clip, NFL defenses and what it presents itself with Tampa 2 and cover 2. Can we just play that clip, Sammy?
Anything that's from your perspective that is going to make you nervous about making this transition into becoming an NFL player? And that could be on or off the field.
I haven't really thought about it. I probably still have to get into it first, actually being a quarterback. But on film, it's the same as college. Besides the D-line, who's obviously better. Every team playing against the highest paid defensive linemen, so, the game could speed up a little bit. But just from a back-end standpoint, a lot of guys want to put the safety high 25 yards down the field and leave the middle field wide open. So some teams who did that to us this year, they paid the price. I think some teams in the NFL did a lot of too-high stuff, like Dallas, going a lot of Tampa, a lot of cover 2. They leave way too much space on the sideline down the seams. And so I just think, the arm strength and, the confidence that I'm bringing, along with the, me getting my receivers better, I just think I'll be able to put the ball where I want.
Now, Daryl, for us as Titan fans and fans in general, when you hear a player talk like that in college and studying film with the quarterback coach, with you being yourself, I mean, that just shows like determination, confidence at an all-time high. I'm sure Shedeur Sanders, after his pro day, is going to do the same exact thing because he saw Cam do it. He got the national attention. Shedeur is going to do it too because these are, in my eyes, they have it up here. They're highly talented and their mindset is right for the NFL. But, just explain that to us. Like, how do you guys, how do you as a quarterbacks coach of future number one overall picks teach these guys to move up to the next level and read defense? Is this like an occurring thing with you?
Yeah, so I think one of the easiest things is with both of these guys, they played a lot of football. With Cam playing 5 seasons, Shedeur playing 4 seasons, a lot of pass attempts,
Yep.
a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. So they've seen a lot of defenses. Of course, the NFL is a whole nother level. Of course, we know that, but they've seen a lot of football to where the college game has slowed down for them, so they're really able to see it a different way. Doing this whole draft prep process that we did, on top of the lifting that we did, on field stuff that we did stuff in the film room as well. Looking at the teams that you possibly end up going to, kind of watching some film of just all teams, watching some film of teams in the conference. I mean, not in the conference, but in the divisions. Just kind of seeing how does the Texans play the Titans, or how did the Colts play the Titans, or why did they do this? So just kind of get familiar with all those different situations and watch as much ball as you can, because you're going into a whole different level. So, and then, but just one of the things we would do is see a defense, and okay, how would you attack it here? Right? Why would you attack it this way? Okay, let's see what they actually did. Okay, what do you think about this? Okay, why did they do that? Okay, cool. Just finding different ways to kind of learn about it and get familiar with watching the tape, and finding ways to watch it. So he's watched a lot of film over the last 11 weeks or so. He's watched a lot of NFL film and kind of getting familiar with what a lot of teams are doing. Of course, it won't be target on until he kind of gets to wherever he's going to go and lock in on that playbook and be able to put the plays against the defenses and all that type of stuff. But just for right now, man, I think he does a good job and it's not even just with me. He does it on his own. Both of those guys, I call them random times in the evening, and both of those guys are, what you doing, man? Watching this film, and they don't have a game coming up. They don't even know what team they're going to. But it's more so just preparing themselves and kind of getting familiar with some of the looks that people are doing, some of the stuff they're doing up front, some of the stuff they're doing on the back end. So for him to, be able to talk about that in the interview, it just shows what he's been able to, do throughout this time since he's been out of college.
Now, are there players, especially for me, I'm not the biggest college football fan. Obviously, I watch it, but I love the NFL.
Yep.
You give two, do you think fair comparisons for player comps to, at his ceiling, who do you think Cam Ward can be? Obviously, you're their quarterback coach. You're going to think highly of them, but just a player comp for both Cam Ward and Shedeur, to give someone like me who, I watch a lot of football during, draft season, but during football season, I spend more of my time watching professional football. So what's your player comp for both players to give me and other Titans fans a better feel to really make us think what's the ceiling with both guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't give you a guy as far as ceiling, because I feel like the guys that I would name would be kind of their situations may be completely different than what these guys' situations are going to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's more so for me. It's more so play style.
Okay.
So for Shedeur, I really think Joe Burrow is a good comp. How he plays in the pocket, very sneaky, athletic, extremely accurate, can make plays on the run, can extend plays, tough guy. Joe Burrow took a beating the last couple of years. Same thing to Shedeur. Got up and still made plays, still stood in there and made throws down the field. And then with Cam, man, I remember before Cam got to Miami, I said this. I was like, man, Cam has a lot of his play style reminds me a lot of Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams with all the off platform, and they killed me on Twitter. Killed me. People was killing me on Twitter for about 2 weeks. But then as he started to play this year and get into it and all the off platform stuff, all the sidearm stuff. I'm not saying the kid's Patrick Mahomes, of course not.
Yeah.
But his play style and how Pat plays and a lot of stuff that, the baseball background, Cam has the same thing. So all the different arm angles, getting the ball out so quick, a lot of different things was very similar to what Pat did. So, man, I would say those comps would be those two guys for them.
That's hysterical that you said that, because I have notes, as I do every show, I write down notes, and I was going to ask you the same question. Ceilings for me. And I'm talking about absolute ceilings. Okay. Style quarterbacks. I have Cam Ward as Patrick Mahomes, and that's the absolute ceiling he can be. And I have Sanders, not Joe Burrow, but Tom Brady-esque. Stands in the pocket tall, very accurate, deadly accuracy. And that's to me, that's their absolute ceilings. And those with those two guys, forget about it. I mean, if that's their ceilings, they have everything in the world to be.
But to his point, well, he talked about the situations they were drafted into. Obviously, we know Burrow went right in there. Mahomes
Mhm.
had the advantage of sitting behind Alex Smith, a veteran for a year.
Yep.
And, to me, Andy Reid's the best play caller of all time,
Exactly.
if not top three. You know what I mean? So he was
Exactly.
drafted into a very good situation. Travis Kelce had been there,
A lot of weapons around him.
Tyreek Hill came not so much later than that. Yeah, I mean, listen, Burrow and Mahomes. Obviously, if they get even close to that, I would love that. But should either player drop more than expected? And I know you have brought about teams getting meet families once in a while, and we know that Shedeur comes at least a little bit of prime, right? And prime one everywhere he's been. But sometimes he's your guy, sometimes he's not your guy. Do you think teams are looking into what comes along with Shedeur in regards to the attention the Sanders family has, and could that potentially cause a team to look the other way?
I don't think so. I think because you know what you're getting. You've seen what his dad has done when he was playing. You've seen what he's done when he's not playing. And when I say that, I'm talking about being able to make money, being able to sell tickets. So
Yeah.
I think for anybody, especially like Tennessee, new stadium. You got a kid named Shedeur Sanders, and his dad's gonna be around. That's gonna sell tickets itself. And then the
And
way,
Tennessee needs to sell tickets right now. Trust me.
yeah, yeah. So and then the way that Shedeur markets himself, and the way he's blew up and became a college superstar in the last 4 years. A freaking celebration that everybody in every sport has done. All the kids have done. Same thing with Cam, but so I think from an outside looking in, a lot of people you may question it, but I think when you get down to it, the people who making the calls and different things, I don't think they have a problem with it. I think all of them, of course, you have conversations about different things. I don't know what conversations they've had, but I'm pretty sure they, had conversations about that to see if anything would be a problem or anything. But with Coach Prime, man, knowing him, he's not that type of guy. He's not someone going in, and of course he wants the best for his child, and just like anybody else, but he's not going in like, okay, y'all need to do it this way. He's that's not him at all. He's gonna let the
Should
guys do his thing.
sorry to cut you off, but should Cleveland want to take him at 2, you don't think there would be a situation where they said we don't want to go to a Cleveland, you know what I mean, historically, what they've been like. So you think if it goes 1-2, Cam and Shedeur, there won't be any
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I think, like I said, I think they've had some conversations, and talked about it. I think it's a good. I mean, I think it's a good fit for it. I hope they go 1-2 because I like the situation for both of them. I like the situation in Tennessee with Coach Cal, his offensive mind and the stuff he's able to do, and them with all the offensive line guys that they've been able to sign and different things like that. And then you go to Cleveland with that defense. And then the weapons that the run game that they have and the weapons. So I'm fine with both of those guys going to either one. So I think both of those guys will be fine going to either one. So yeah, I don't think it'll be. I know that's a lot of the social media stuff, but I don't think that'll be a problem at all.
Yeah, I mean, especially with draft season coming along, you see people on Twitter, you see the national media. They say that's why Sanders is falling. Cam Ward maybe not be generational. Dill Carter is going to go here. Travis Hunter go there. I mean, it's all hearsay. That's why I said these guys put their head down. They know what type of player they are. They're going to succeed in the NFL, especially you being in the room with them. Absolutely. Speaking of that, segueing into that, what do you think their confidence level going into this stressful month now? Because we have less than 3 weeks just about for the NFL draft. What's their confidence level looking right now, heading into now Shedeur's pro day and going into the draft?
Man, with these two, I don't know how a lot of people were when they were going through this process, but these two guys are completely different. Like when I say they're not phased by anything, they're not, man, like they just want to go ahead and find out where they're going and be able to move on from there. These guys aren't, nervous. Of course, your dreams are coming true, but it isn't nervous like the pro day for Cam. It was like for him, it was like, man, this is just like practice, just throwing rocks. Same thing for Shedeur. He's comfortable, no nerves, just ready to go out there and get it done, and help his guys put his receivers on a bigger map. So no nerves, but those guys are extremely confident. They put the work in. I think that's why they prepare they prepare the best they can. They do everything that they can. Like I say, all the film they've been watching, and they're not even playing football right now. All the work they put in consistently for the last 3 months pretty much, and didn't, both of those guys didn't throw at the combine, so it was like you're just working and working. We could have started a lot later if we were just going to do the pro days, but those guys kept working and working because they understood the situations that they're going into. So their confidence level is at an all-time high. I think it's just like they're just like, man, all right, it's time to get this over with, figure out where we're going so we can start learning the playbook and get back to regular football.
Now, Darrell, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to defend your guys, okay? Because there's a lot of media attention around both of them, saying that these guys aren't generational, like we just talked about. You hear some reporters saying these guys wouldn't even they would be quarterback 8 and 9 in last year's draft. These guys wouldn't, be late, later draft picks last year and the years prior. What do you have to say to those guys about the quarterbacks you coach versus the quarterbacks got drafted a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think the difference with these guys, these guys are in a very different situation. Most of the guys who got drafted last year, got drafted the last few years, most of those guys played 1 year or played 2 years, right?
Yep.
Either red shirted and played two, or maybe rotated and then had one really good year, because that's normally how it goes and it's normally all you need. But these guys have literally played a lot of freaking football, right? They played
57 and 50 starts, right?
yeah, so like they played a lot of football, and what I think that helps them at is, you see when a lot of guys, first year guys, are a lot of rookies, but when they only play a year or 2 years, they go into the NFL and they don't have as great of a season as people may think. But I think these guys, they'll be able to pick it up a lot faster than some other guys just because of the amount of football that they've played. I think it kind of plays over. Of course, the NFL is a completely different game, but
Yep.
I think it plays over in their favor with all the football that they've played at a high level in the NFL. I mean, in the NCAA. But then you go back to where they would be slated. I think if Cam Ward was at Miami last year, he would be in the same situation. He had pretty much the same exact stats at Wazoo, but it was just nobody was staying up to 11 p.m. to watch him play. So
Yep.
nobody really knew. So when he put his name in the draft, a lot of people didn't know. What he did this year is what he's been doing since he's been in college football. Lighting it up, crazy stats, crazy highlight plays. Like a lot of this stuff was the same stuff. It's just nobody was watching. And then Shedeur would have been a first round draft pick last year. Just depends on where he would have went. So that was, if he wanted to come out last year, he would have been, easily top 10 guy, top 15 guy, just based off the ball he played, how successful he was last year, and especially, taking 58 sacks or whatever that number was. That was way more than that, I think, 62, I think. But however many sacks he took last year and still being able to deliver, still be able to keep his team in the game, especially at a school that was 1-11 the year before. So I mean, those guys, man, and that's the thing, they don't care about it. Like they don't. That's why they don't pay. That's why you never hear anything about them. Talking about whatever people are saying online or whatever, because they don't care about it. They know what they're doing, and they know the people that's making the calls. So they're fine with everything that comes with it.
It's funny how you said no one's watching the Wazoo games, and living on the East Coast, the only reason you're watching those 11 o'clock games is if you bet them, and I only know that because
That's it.
I've done it before.
Yeah, that's it.
You're having a bad day, and you're like, yeah, let me look at that total on Wazoo versus Oregon State.
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you, one more question for you, and thank you so much for coming
sure.
on. I'm not asking you to choose between your guys, but in your heart of hearts and seeing, what you've seen so far at the combine and, pro days, what do you think our beloved Tennessee Titans are going to be doing next year? Is it going to be the Shedeur, or is it going to be the Cam Ward? What are we seeing in Nashville, hopefully for the next decade?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've heard so many different things. You hear something different literally every day. Like
It's a
every
coin
single
flip
day.
at this point.
Like after Shadeur's pro day, I feel like we're gonna hear something completely different.
Oh, of
So
course.
it's like something completely. So I think it's just more so about who they're comfortable with and I feel like that's why they're doing all this homework, why they're doing the private workouts, why they're going to the pro days and doing all this stuff, because they want to. I feel if I feel like if it was clear cut, they would have already came out with it, like a lot of people have done before in the past. But I think they're not sure. I think it's gonna go down to the wire to when they kind of figure it out. But I think you guys would be comfortable with either one of those guys. I think they're very similar. Of course, playing styles are completely different, but they're very similar as far as how smart those guys are, how much ball they played. The confidence that they have in themselves, the competitors being able to win over a room, being able to. Both of those guys have been in multiple different teams and changed the program. Of course, it's completely different at the NFL, but they've done it before, so they understand what it takes. Of course, you're going to have to do a little bit more at the NFL level, but they understand what it takes. So I think you'd be comfortable throwing your watch up or doing I don't know if it's called the elephant. He still hasn't told me the name. I don't know what it's called, but the little whatever.
Either one is fine with us. Either way, listen, we're
Either one is
in
fine.
search. We're in search of a franchise quarterback since Steve McNair at this point, because we tried with Coach Young, we tried with Mariota. Now
Yeah.
it's either one of these guys.
Yeah,
Daryl,
I think if you guys take one of them at one, I think you find your guy.
yeah, I mean, everyone says build around the offensive line, defensive line with Abdul Carter. You're generational. You got Travis Hunter. No one's really talking about Travis Hunter, but it's just
I
so.
don't know
it's
why.
so,
They should.
it's so quarterback driven right now with our teams, especially at the
100%.
front end of the draft. So that's why it's a quarterback driven league, plain and
And
simple.
it should be, but Travis Hunter is a different
Yeah.
beast to be for people to be overlooking him like that.
Yep.
I mean, but it won't be overlooked on April 24th. So
Absolutely not.
he won't be sitting there long.
No, absolutely not. Darrell, we appreciate you, man. I know you're from Miami. You go to Colorado. You're back and forth. Everything you do, you post videos online of the guys. We love it. We love seeing their competitions, how they bust each other's chops all the time. Wish you all the best of luck. Wish the players best of luck for Shedeur to kill it out there on April 4th, and you as well. Hope everything goes smooth. And we appreciate you very much for coming on the show tonight.
Most definitely, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all having me. This was good, man. We'll have
Thank
to
you
do it
very
again
much.
Absolutely.
Once
one of these guys are there.
Hopefully we'll see you at a game next year.
Yeah, for sure. As long as they keep that pick, I think we'll be there. So
we're keeping that pick now because they want to haul for it. I don't see them getting it. So I appreciate it again, man.
Nah, for sure, man. Appreciate you guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good one. Darrell Colbert, Select Quarterbacks Athletics. What a gentleman, man. He's got a hell of a resume, too, with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Traveling, going back and forth between pro days within weeks.
A future as an agent, too. He gave the most politically correct answer on my last.
Oh, he's got to be, man. I mean, those are both of his guys. He's rooting for both of them.
So either of them short. He wants them to go 1-2, for sure. And they very well, they just fight. So you don't know. In my heart of hearts, though, I know we got to go soon. It's getting late. I personally think, and I didn't watch the pod with you and Sal, I think we're going Cam Ward. I said it when I was on with you a couple of weeks ago, what I thought they would do and what I want them to do. And I said from the start, I think they're going to stick and pick. I think they're going to do it with Cam Ward. I still think that's the case. When it comes down to it, like you said, it is a quarterback-driven league. They always go at a premium. That being said, I still don't change my mind on what I think they should do. If they could get a massive haul and get a premier player, I still think it's worth discussing. But it seems like they're going to stick and pick at one. And regardless of what you want them to do, you cannot blame them if they stick and pick Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. But I think it's going to be Cam. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong right now with either one of them. I know how the draft talk, how everyone's saying, Sanders' stock is falling a little bit. I don't believe that whatsoever. I think the Titans are bringing these guys in, like Darrell said, they're bringing these guys in to get a better look at them one-on-one in their settings without national media all over the place. And they're really going to sit down and drill these guys, and they're going to find their franchise quarterback. And the way Cam Ward's pro day went, for me, I thought it was flawless. The confidence. So that's why I asked Darrell. The confidence of these guys, to me, it's at an all-time high. I mean, the way he goes over to, rolls out right, slings the ball, and then Borgonzi and Brinker are sitting there, and he goes, "I'm solidifying it today." Now watch. Now Sanders, April 4th, next week, right? I guarantee you he's gonna put on a show and he's gonna almost do the same thing. So because they compete with each other. You see the videos that Darrell puts up when they're throwing and they're busting each other's chops and everything. These guys are the ultimate competitors, in my opinion, and we need that swagger at the quarterback position. And both of these guys got it. So I'm looking forward to Shedeur Sanders' pro day next week.
Especially with, we touched on a little bit earlier, the fact that they need to sell tickets and the frustration is mounting amongst Titans fans. It got sad towards the end of the year, and we need to do something to bring a little bit of energy and hype back to this team. So hopefully, regardless of who they take, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, that they can do that for us. We need it, because if we don't get it right, man, we are going to be stuck in this purgatory type situation for a long time. So whoever we take it, it has to work out. They need to do right by the quarterback as well. Protect them, surround them with weapons, because it seems like both of these guys have the ability. It's just Titans fans, I think, are always a little cautiously pessimistic, I should say, that we're going to do the wrong thing. We saw what we did with Mariota and how we kind of ruined him. And we failed to protect Tannehill his last couple of years here and took away his biggest weapon at the receiver position. His offensive line fell apart. So it's kind of like we kind of get in our own way. So I think both players have the ability to be our guy for a decade. I just think Titans fans also know not only do we need to pick the right guy, but we need to do right by him. And that's something we haven't seen much of our whole life, really. Going back to Vince Young and drafting him, to Mariota and getting him, and our last few years after, we were competitive. So, I'm excited. I think they stick and pick with Cam Ward. I'm in on it. I'm sold. I watch more of his highlights, and I know you can't, judge just off of highlights, but, I'm not going to sit back and watch every Miami game with a newborn. I don't have that time, So I'm settling for YouTube highlights, and I like him, big arm, confident. I like what he said about playing a lot of football. I think that's
Jaden Daniels did it. Bo Nix did it too.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say Bo Nix. A lot of people were 50-50 with him. Yeah. But, he showed out. He looked like he belonged this year.
Starts matter.
Yeah, exactly. So the more you see, look at someone like Brock Purdy. Yep. Even though he was a 7th-round pick, he played a lot of football at Iowa State, correct?
Yep.
So, I think there's something to be said for that. And, in the next month or so, we'll find out. So
there's one thing that, we could have had Darrell on forever, but we got to let him go just because of the simple fact the guy's traveling all over the place. We appreciate him coming on for 25 minutes or so. But there was one question, I wanted to. So next time, if we get him back on, there was one question I wanted to ask him was, how did he feel Brian Callahan with these quarterbacks? How does these quarterbacks fit in Brian Callahan's system, and how he likes Callahan's system? Because I saw wide receivers run open last year, and the quarterbacks weren't just getting them. So hear me out now. Will Levis struggled mightily, and you said it. It's not here with him, okay? He's got the arm. He just has it in his head. Mason Rudolph was a first-year quarterback, right? A first year in Tennessee, in a new system. Brian Callahan system. So those two quarterbacks in a first-year system. That's why we struggled. Okay, that's one thing. Cam Ward is this system that he's going to come into. If we draft Cam Ward, it looks like seamlessly he's going to just plug and play. Right now, with the recent quarterback acquisitions, we got Brandon Allen and we got Tim Boyle. Right, both of those quarterbacks won 3-4 games in total. Right, but Brandon Allen was under Brian Callahan.
In the system, yeah.
Yeah, he was in that system already, so he knows that offense. So if he can help Cam Ward develop even more, if Cam doesn't see something and Brandon Allen goes, hey, boom, 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 that helps versus Will Levis saying, contradicting, we have two young quarterbacks. You need that veteran presence, whether you like it or not. That's why people are scratching these heads. And who knows, at three quarterbacks right now, with our quarterback room, with the record that it is currently standing at 7-29, I think Will Levis may be getting shipped out to Dallas or even Pittsburgh at this point.
I was just going to say, with all these signings, what I think the writing on the wall is, just like you said, they want someone in the quarterback room that knows Callahan's system to help, not necessarily mentor, but teach the system a little bit firsthand to whoever they draft. So my guess it'll be Cam Ward. I think Will Levis will go for a 6th or 7th round pick to somebody. Dallas, I think Pittsburgh is a possibility as well. I saw Sal said he thinks Pittsburgh's a possibility as well. A lot of teams might take a guy. Andy Reid will always take a quarterback. You never know. You just don't know. So I think Will Levis goes. Tim Boyle is a 3rd quarterback emergency, more of a camp arm. They might only keep quarterbacks. But I think the Brandon Allen move was to have a quarterback that knows the system to help teach, our young quarterback, whoever we draft, Callahan system. Levis will probably be gone, and then Tim Boyle, whatever you want to do with him, cut him, keep him on the practice squad, whatever. But I think they have a vision with what they've done. I know a lot of people are scratching their heads, but if you look like big picture-wise, it makes sense a little bit, Yeah. Unless you're at the other school of thought where you're thinking now they're just going to let one of these 3 guys start, not take a quarterback, be awful again, get another high pick. But I don't know if Titans fans have the heart to lift. Sal's blood pressure can't handle that next season.
Sal, I can't.
His head will explode. But we'll see what happens in a month. I think it's going to be Cam Ward. And not only do we need to hit on Cam Ward, my friend, we have to hit or Shedeur, whoever we take. We need to hit on that 2nd round pick. We don't have a 3rd. Do we trade the 2nd to pick up
I think we have enough ammo to come up now because I think we have 2 6s, so we have 2 5ths, 2 4s, or something like that.
We need to hit on everything, and we need to hope it all works out because we can't handle much more of we were spoiled a little bit for a couple of years being competitive. We came right back down to earth. It is not fun place to be. So hopefully whoever we take next month is the start of the next decade, hopefully, as Titans fans. But time will tell.
That's it.
All right, so one of us has got to let us go. Jarett,
you go ahead, let us go.
Yeah, I was going to say I got nothing left to say unless Jarett does.
Great show. That's all I got to say.
We're going to get the 3 amigos back soon. We promise. I know you guys miss us all, me especially. That being said, Sammy, send us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.